Yo YouTube, what is going on, my wonderful trading family? Hope you've all been having an absolutely amazing trading week so far. Hope it's been jam-packed with a lot of profits and a lot of money. But if you haven't got that, guys, and do you know what I hope, which is probably the second best thing, which, do you know what, might be the best thing, to be honest with you, over money, is the knowledge and power in the lessons that you've learned. Okay, because we don't take failures over here, guys. All we've got is lessons that help us grow. Okay, and speaking of growth, I was taking a look at this trade that I placed, right? And just looking at how far I've come, and not to brag, but just looking back over the 4.5 years of experience that I've got, looking at all the trades that I've taken, and looking at how many times I was taking the shittest trades possible. Like, I'm not being funny, they were just really, really shit. Like, I would be taking trades with literally with entries that just look like this. Like 1.5 pip stop losses, just no confirmation for the trade. There were times where, for example, if I was taking a trade right by here, I know I didn't actually place this trade, but if I took a trade like this, okay, where I want to take a buy from this position, I would simply be like literally setting the trade on, and within like the same candle, it's just running straight into drawdown. Like, honestly, my stop losses were terrible, and there were so many factors to it. And I'm going to tell you guys why you are probably also taking really shit trades. Maybe your trading just sucks. Like, maybe the trades you're taking just absolutely flipping suck. But if you are feeling that way, and I'm telling you that, and that's kind of resonating with you, then don't take this as a sign that you're not doing the right thing, you're failing, you're fucking around, you're taking the piss, you're doing whatever, because I'm here to tell you that you truly are not. Do you know what the best thing about this is? If you feel like you're in that situation, then you are exactly in the right place. Do you know why? Because you're figuring it out, right? And that's the only thing that you can do, is figure out what is happening. Because I was in those situations, as I just explained, where I was just, taking loads of losses all the time. And we all know that losses are normal, but there is a point in our trading career where we've got to understand, is my strategy profitable? Is it making money? Like, is it really making money, or is it just, really shit, right? We've obviously got to pair in our psychology in that fact as well. And I'm pretty sure that, a lot of you have been in that situation where your psychology has been fine. You don't over leverage, you're patient, you're disciplined, you're doing all the right things, but for some reason the account's just red. And you got no effing clue why. Well, it's probably because your trades are looking pretty bad. And when I started to, one of the things that I was focusing on is, I was always looking at the money that I wanted to make in a trade. I was always trying to find the best entry. I was always looking for things that I'd seen in the past that had basically worked and trying to maximize on that thing. The one thing I wasn't doing, guys, is that I wasn't focusing on my risk. So genuinely, something I would do and thing I would say to myself is that if I took a loss, I'd be saying, okay, cool. If the trade's good to go, I'm going to go again, because the market's probably telling me that I got to just shift my stop loss in a different place, or I got to shift my entry somewhere else. And I could take 1, 2, 3 losses in a row just on that one setup. I mean, come on, you guys have been there. It's not a nice feeling, especially when you see the market just ping off in the direction that you expected, and knowing that you were just liquidity for everybody. It's not a nice game. It's not a nice feeling. But I'm going to tell you guys how you can be taking some real banging trades. There's a few things that you got to first take in mind. Is that you got to shift your perspective, you got to start shifting your belief, and you've also got to start prioritizing your risk over your reward. Because when you start doing this, things will really massively pan out for you. Just take a little bit of extra time to look at that setup. Have I got the confirmation? Am I going with the trend? Is there anything that is possible to mess me up in this trade? And if there is, where should I be looking to exit, or what should I be looking to avoid, or where should I be, where are my points of caution, shall we say? So let's go over, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to just go on replay mode. We're going to go on the 4-hour time frame, just zip back to a random point, and I'm going to kind of walk through a process which you guys can also follow or adapt to your own trading style. And what this is going to basically do is show you how you can start being a little bit more careful. Okay, so I'm going to just apply my knowledge to the market as it usually is. We're not really here to, I'm going to show you over the course of this time that we're trading. in this sort of, I guess, back testing session, if you want to call it, that these trades will be working out. I'm going to be using pretty much the 4 hour, the 1 hour, the 50 minute and the 5 minute. So all of this together. We're not really going to be stuck to 1 or 2 or 3. We're not going to use all of them, but this is how I trade. I like to trade just kind of going off everything that I'm seeing. Okay, and I'm going to give you examples of what the shit trades look like and what the good trades look like. Okay, so what I'm looking at here is we've got the 4 hour time frame simply consolidating. Let me just go to the 1 hour time frame and kind of see if I can get a clearer picture. Yes, I can clearly see that price is just ranging. We've, you know, the direction of the market is we are currently trending to the downside, so I'm not really looking for any buys right about now. The market is still consolidating. It's still doing a bunch of hoo-ha. It's doing what it wants to do. And here we have something which I can potentially go ahead and look at. Let me quickly go ahead and just check the 4 hour time frame and see if we've got anything that can kind of mess us up a little bit. Potentially this level right by here. So let's go ahead and see. Do we want to take some buys? Why not? Let's go ahead and see if we can scout some buys. Let's look at the 50-minute time frame. Can we get a pullback? We get a pullback. Don't run away from me. Stop. Okay, so let's start this process right now. So we don't care, guys, if this trade wins or loses. Okay, I'll be interested to know what it is, though. Just you know. But we gotta basically take a few things into consideration. The first thing is, if you're trading the 5 minute or the 50 minute, you got to know that the 15 minute is going to be generally more reliable. It's more reliable for structure and it's more reliable for entries. The only thing that's not so great about the 15 minute time frame is that we may struggle to get entries sometimes, because sometimes the 15 minute time frame, which you've probably seen, can just do something like this, where it just pushes and pushes, right? We don't really get a lot of these break and retest structures, where on the 5 minute time frame, guess what? We're seeing it everywhere. Do you know what I mean? We're seeing patterns all the time, but those patterns are not so reliable. Okay, so that's something that you guys can change. If you guys like to wait for a wick rejection at your retest levels, or your double top levels, or your trend levels, or pretty much any level that you're looking to take a trade from, if you're going on the higher time frames, when you get that data, such as wick rejections or candle closes, it's going to be more reliable. So that's something. Okay, another thing that you guys can do is wait for a close. Okay, so if you are at this position now and you say, right, this is my entry, this is what I really want to do, I want to go ahead and take my trade, go for a little 1-to-1, and as soon as price bumps into here, then I'm going to go ahead and enter the trade. Lo and behold, what happens? We come into here. Okay, we don't get triggered, but we'll get triggered at some point. Just like now, we get triggered. That is better. Why is it better? Because look at all these wick rejections we've got by here. We can see clearly that price is respecting this structure. We've got the information from the 1 hour time frame. We can see that this is looking like a nice little trade we can place by here. Okay, another thing that you guys want to also do is, if possible, put your stop loss in the safest place, which is always like behind a major low or a trend point. Okay, go back to basics, guys. Remember your definitions of uptrends and downtrends. Okay, and you know where the trend is likely to end. Okay, when price basically will break below here and break below there, it does something like this, does something like that. So guess what? If you put your stop loss in and around this place, then you are putting yourself in a position where if you get tapped out for your stop loss, then do you know what? You're just wrong on the position. Because how many times have we taken buys like this? Okay, for example, we take a buy like whatever, like so, okay, and we're expecting price to pretty much push up from here, okay, and we put our stop loss by here. Okay, which is pretty much denoted like this. Okay, we put our stop loss by there, or by here, or by there. And how many times do we rearrange it? When, do you know what, we put it by there, we're giving ourselves the best chance of success by eliminating all those potential losses. So we just take it a little bit easier. Like, we just chill out a little bit. Do you know what I mean? We just chill out a little bit, just take those trades. Don't worry too much about the reward. They will come, and we can basically go ahead with it. You know, if that's what you want to do, that will massively improve your results. You'll take less losses. But then what you also have to bear in mind is that you can't really be going for these like 1-to-3s and 1-to-5s. I mean, look at the size of that stop loss. It's 27 pips. It's not a small stop loss. Okay, so you do have to bear in mind these things. But how can you work around this? Okay, does it mean that this retest level by here is a bad place to put our stop loss? Absolutely not. But what I would argue is that if we are in and around this space okay, price, and we're looking to take buys, if price is clearly trending, so long as we don't clearly get some kind of break of structure which would, void this mini trend that we've got here, then price can pretty much bounce around this level for as long as it pretty much wants to. So like we said, if you're going to be taking your stop losses here, there, or wherever, that's fine, so long as you've got the data to back it up. And what do I mean by the data? So long as you've got something to tell you that level is, this level is being respected. So we can see that we got the respect, we got the respect from these candles and the wicks. So we can put our stop loss around by here. Do you know what would be even better? If you could probably find some other structure to put it behind. So you get this protection and that protection. And you know what? This kind of trade is not looking too bad now. Do you know what I mean? We could maybe, if we wanted to go maybe put our stop loss by there, we could see if we can get maybe a comfortable 1 to 2, okay? But what have we also got to bear in mind? Well, if we're taking our trades, and let me just see what actually happens. Okay, fantastic. So once we get by here, okay, if we can see that this is one of the places where price could pretty much reverse against us, we want to start thinking about risk management. Now, we all know that price doesn't respect key levels all the time, okay? So price, if it really wants to, could pretty much smash up and do something like that, okay? But we don't want to be caught in a situation where price gets to around here and it goes all the way down to stop loss. So at this point, you can put a few things into perspective. We can say that we have, had this little push. We've got the structure by here. If you wanted to put your stop loss right by there, that's absolutely fine. I mean, look at that. It's a lovely trade. 3R trade. If you want to put it by there and get 3R, you want to put it by there and get 2R, you want to put it by there and get 1R, it doesn't matter, right? You've just got to, point all of these things so that it makes sense, okay? And so the next thing that we've got to talk about is if it makes sense, is that if you're doing something like this where you're thinking to yourself, do you know what, I'm going to go for a 1 to 5. I do know that this level could be something pretty tricky. The overall trend is to the downside, which we can also see on the 4-hour time frame. We can see that structure is to the downside, but we have had this, opportunity by here because we have the information pointing that price is trending to the downside overall. We can't be too ambitious with our targets, okay? We can't be thinking to ourselves, it's going to reverse now, we can go for 1 to 15. I would laugh now if it does. I would low-key want to see what happens. Okay, fine, it's going to trend, do whatever. But the point that I'm making by here is that one thing that you can do is you've got a few things. The first thing that you can do is say to yourself, well, great, do you know what? I want to target a 1 to 5, okay? What I'm going to do is set that to break even. There's absolutely zero reason why you should take a stop loss for this trade. The reason why you should take a stop loss is if your trade idea is wrong, okay? But your trade idea was correct. And what was your trade idea? Well, we know that price is traveling to the downside. We saw that the 4-hour was consolidating. We saw that the 4-hour had broken above, right? So it gave us this bullish candle. We saw on the 1H that we had this, break above by here. We had the information from the 50-minute time frame that we had a nice break and retest structure. We're going to be looking for the evidence to support us putting our stop loss behind this place so that we can maximize our risk to reward. And if we want to go for a, and that's it. And that is pretty much it. That is the trade idea. So if you take that trade and it goes by here, then you fucked it. No, you didn't fuck it. The trade is just wrong. Like, you're just wrong, okay? But this is the most important part, is that when are you truly wrong? Are you able to decide that your initial proposition was wrong or your entire idea was wrong? Now, that's something that you guys have to kind of figure out for yourself. But what I will say is that better safe than sorry, but there's nothing wrong with putting your stop loss by there if you have this evidence to support that price is respecting the structure. If it's not respecting that structure or hasn't given you the data to support that, then don't be setting your stop losses there. Go in the safest place, okay? So now that price has traveled above by here, why does it make sense now to keep your stop loss there? Because you were correct by here. You were correct on that move. Now, if price suddenly starts coming down, let me just go ahead and see what price actually does, because I do kind of want to see it come down if it will show us that. Okay, so it literally went for our 1 to 15 target. Oh my bloody hell, look at that. Why is it that those trades that you're just planning that are silly and whatnot? Oh, there's news as well. So, but trades like this could flip and happen, guys. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I've seen gold move insane, do you know what I mean? So these kind of trades are fine, but the thing is, we don't know that price is going to go ahead and do this. All we know is that it could come back down by here. So what you can do is that you can set some limits. Okay, maybe a trailing stop loss would work. right? Maybe you want to, yeah, trailing stop loss would work. Maybe you want to cash out for a 1-to-1 or just go break even, okay? These, in my opinion, are really, really good trades. You start to think more and more about what's going on, and you're not doing silly things like so. Let's go ahead and back to that situation again, okay? Okay, do you know what? Let's use a new situation, okay? Let's look at a situation where the better safe than sorry would have really worked out for us, okay? So I can't really see too much by here. Okay, do you know what? This looks like something really, really good to look at, okay? So what are we looking at right by here? Okay, we pretty much have almost the exact same idea, okay, but still, right, price has been consolidating in this area. There's really not a lot of initial direction, and do you know what? I'm going to forget that and we'll go to another day because it'll be much easier. Let's go by here. Okay, this looks a lot better. There's no consolidations. We've just seen the candle push up, so we're going to go ahead and use that as an example. So what we're waiting for here is just to see something. I want to see a bit of volume coming into the market. This looks dead. It just looks like a wasteland. You know, it looks like the wilderness from RuneScape. I need to see something, right? I don't want to be taking sells, even though this candle is starting to look quite good. I don't want to take sells. Why? Because the initial structure is all the way to the upside. Granted, we did see that candle move up, but that's, you know, this is my process. Something like this, fantastic. Now we can go to let's go to the 5-minute time frame for all our scalpers out there. Okay, something like this. Now it's probably going to work now. Something like this, okay, for me is a very shit trade. Okay, I don't care if this trade wins and you're able to get like 1 to 6 in 2 minutes. I just do not care, because shit like that happens. Okay, you get tagged in, it messes around. You're not thinking about structure. You're not thinking about what the best possible, you know, what the best thing is for you right here. And what is the best thing for you? The best thing for you is to make as much money with as little risk possible. That is it. There is nothing left for you to think about. Make as much money possible with as little risk as possible. So you got to be thinking about your risk right here. So let's start this again. Right by here is where we had the candle open. Okay, it's 9 a.m. literally the next candle. So you would not be wrong in thinking that this could be a nice break and retest. Granted, the structure's looking a bit naff. It's not looking a bit awkward. Okay, there's a few things that you can do right here. Okay, you want to, you know, if you want to take this trade, and this is something that you're taking, right? You got to think about this. Am I prioritizing my risk, or am I trying to go for those lovely, juicy golden gains? The answer is most likely you're going for the gains. So think to yourself now, how can I be prioritizing my risk? Okay, look at the overall structure. We can see right here that this is a 5-minute trend defining point. You know, this is a 5-minute high or low. So like we said before, when we're using our definition of uptrends, okay, remember, this is our sensitive level. Okay, this is the point in which if price breaks below, the trend has shifted. So if you want to, there's two things you can do by here. You can take the break and retest there, but what did we say before? We got to have the evidence that price is respecting the structure. And guess what? It's not respecting it. It's just broken down. Okay, so this whole setup now is completely void. Delete, please. Is completely void. The next break and retest that can possibly happen is if it breaks above by here. But it doesn't mean we're just taking break and retests. Why would we limit ourselves like that? You know, we're fluid traders. We can use our brain a little bit. And sorry, I'm not throwing shade. I'm just saying, you know, sometimes we forget to actually use our head, and we can go ahead and take trades down by here, because guess what can happen if price reacts by there? Because this is our trend defining point, price could just go ping off, boom, and we've seen it happen time and time again. So that's exactly what we're expecting price to do right by here. Okay, so what do we got by here? Well, we can see that price has respected the structure. Okay, what we don't want to do is take our buys instantly and put our stop loss like this. Like, even though you say to yourself, oh yeah, but I'm putting my stop loss here in a safer place now. Bro, look at that stop loss. What loss is that stopping, bro? Like, that ain't doing nothing for you. You know, let it breathe, my man. Let the trade have some wiggle room, my friend, okay? You know, so something like this now is looking not too bad. You know what? If you wanted to take your trade up by here, that's not too bad. That's kind of mediocre. Honestly, it's not the best thing. The best thing that you really want to do is get in as low as possible. This is the best risk to reward possible. Why? Because you've got your stop loss in the safest place and you've got your entry in the best place. So just because we're thinking about our risk doesn't mean that we're not thinking about our reward. Of course we do. That's the bread and butter. That's where we're going to get our wage. But you got to play around this so that it favors you. Something like this, okay, does not favor you. Like, that is retarded. Sorry, but that is just very stupid. Okay, something like this, okay, is also not really serving you. Okay, the best thing is this. You got the best entry and the best risk to reward. So you can wait for price to come and give you, you can come and fill that order. Okay, it doesn't do that, right? Like I said, if you wanted to go by there, it's not bad at all. Okay, this is just the best situation, right by here. That is the best thing. Okay, give it a little bit more room. Okay, but let's start the process again. Okay, what are we looking at? Price has now made a new higher high, which is pretty much the exact same structure by here. Price has made a new higher high, and this is the trend defining point, right? The point at which if price travels above, we're in an uptrend. If it breaks, we're in a downtrend. Okay, so we want to see price respecting the structure. We've got one candle respecting, another candle respecting. Now this is not looking too bad. Okay, this for me is not looking too bad. Again, if you can, if the risk to reward is not too bad, then go ahead and put the stop loss there. Do you know what? In my opinion, this would be much better than this. Okay, because whilst we can get some good gains, this just feels better. The other trade we had, which was all the way down by there, remember, you know, the previous trade, our stop loss was like 27 pips. This is 10 pips. It's not too bad. So I would be inclined to kind of keep this open, right? There we are. Do whatever. Okay, it does whatever it wants to do. And, you know, you would have still been in this trade. I don't really know where price wants to go by here. And boom, guys, look at that. Look at that. Okay, what happened? We got taken out right by here, even though price did respect that structure. If you went by here and you took a stop loss, bro, congratulations. That's a decent trade. That's a really good trade. Really, really good trade. But was it the safest? No, it wasn't. But if you wanted to go ahead and, you know, maybe get like a 1 to 3, a quick 1 to 3 there, go ahead and do it, bro. Smash it. That was a good trade. We had all the evidence lining up, plus price had broken structure, forming this new kind of, you know, this new trend defining point where price had basically gone and, you know, broken below, done whatever. But with 5-minute trend defining points, what's also most important is that you will see this happen very often with the 5-minute time frame, is that it will pretty much go down by there. We'll say, oh, we're in a downtrend, and boom, it'll smash up. Why will it smash up? Because on the 50-minute time frame, it's very unlikely that the trend is broken. So the best thing to do is focus on the 50-minute time frame, right? On the structure on the 50-minute time frame, and, you know, use the 5-minute as a guide. These trades do work, but you got to understand that this model for the trend defining point, you know, it reduces its kind of reliability the lower time frames you go, and understandably, that's just how the market moves. Okay, so best scenario was to go down by there, and maybe a question you might say is, you know, mate, is your trade invalidated now? You know, is your whole setup invalidated? Because you said to me earlier that, you know, why would you take a stop loss by there? Okay, because your original trade idea had pretty much, you know, flopped. Okay, that would have been a valid point, you know. But the thing is, you don't really want to be taking like break even when price hasn't done anything. Like, it's just not really moved, because you got two situations when you take a trade. You got a stop loss, right? That either you were correct or you weren't correct. And when you're correct, what do you want to see? Price move. You don't want to see a little bit and then go off. You want to see it move. Like, so in this situation, don't go break even. Do not go break even. If you want to go break even and maybe have some different entries on the 50-minute time frame, or do whatever, and then do what you want to do. I'm just saying, like, you want to make, you know, it makes sense for price to push off a little bit. This is not really takeoff. That is a little bit. You know, we want to see price do 1 to 2, 1 to 3. If you're going for, you know, TPs when you're stop, if your stop loss is in between, like, say 3.5 to like 8 pips, you can go for 1 to 3s. If you're getting anywhere between that and like 16, you want to go for 1 to 2. Anything above that, you want to go for 1 to 1s. It's just going to be so much harder for you to get those huge wins, but that's if you're doing 50-minute and 5-minute trading. If you're doing like 1 hour, that's obviously a whole different ballgame. So that's pretty much it, guys. Let's just go ahead and recap, okay? Focus on your risk over your reward. Look for good confirmation. Also, make sure that your trade ideas, you know, is lining up, is making sense. You're not just going into trades because you want to make all this money. No, take it slow, take it easy. follow that process, look at how everything, pictured together, make those decisions. I'm in a downtrend by here, but what's going to happen if price wants to break above, blah, blah, blah. We see by here the trend has shifted. Let's look for buys. Let's go ahead to our 1 hour time frame. Let's look for that kind of information. Now we want to take our entries, preferably use the 50-minute time frame. It'll be a lot more reliable, but like so, where's the entry by here? It just looks a bit odd. So I can't really see an entry by there. But if you go to the 5-minute time frame, this situation looks a lot clearer. Okay, so that's it for me, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please drop a subscribe, drop a like, drop a comment. Helps me out massively. And if there's anything else that you guys would want to see or have me cover, then please let me know in the comments. I love you to the bottom of my heart, you guys. You are all fantastic. You are all doing so well, and I can't wait to see all of you completely smash it out the park. You've all got it within yourself. Absolutely every single person here is destined and has it within themselves to achieve the success that they want. Never forget that. It's very, very true. I'm over and out, and I'll see you later. Take care, guys.